Please be seated as the Reverend Pamela Barz, Wellesley's Unitarian Universalist chaplain, delivers the invocation.
Here comes the sun, we sang yesterday at baccalaureate, and here indeed does come the sun, both above us and spread out before us, the golden yellow class, the class of the sun. When many of you arrived here in 2007, along with President Bottomley, you brought the sun to your orientation after days of rain. And now, as you leave, after days of rain and gloom, you've brought out the sun again to shine upon your moving on. But before you move on, for one last time, you are gathered here together in the academic quad and shaded by its trees. Like the trees, you do not stand alone. You have been sustained and challenged by family, faculty, mentors, and friends. You have swayed with the winds, bent with the gales, but still stand strong, tall, and here, rooted in Wellesley soil, soaring to the universe's sun. Today we celebrate all that has brought you to this moment and all that will shine forth from it. But most of all, we celebrate you here now. Let the celebration begin.
Thank you, Reverend Barz. On behalf of the trustees, the faculty, the staff, the alumni, and the Wellesley College Class of 2011, it is my privilege to welcome you to the college's 133rd commencement exercises. Assembled here in the academic quad are the guests of the graduates, the proud mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, and extended family members and friends, and for the 17 Davis Scholars, partners, spouses, and children. They are ready to graduate, can't you tell? They are excited and proud and probably a little bit nervous. Seniors, as we celebrated yesterday at baccalaureate, today you are surrounded by the people with whom you have created communities of connections. These communities of connection extend beyond Wellesley, of course, and I know you share an additional appreciation for those who have supported you during your time here, family and friends, faculty and staff. Seniors, I invite you to stand and express your gratitude to them. I would also like to take a moment for us collectively to acknowledge and show support for 3 of your classmates who are missing today's ceremony because they are representing Wellesley College at the NCAA National Championships and crew this weekend. Yes. You can sit down. Now I'm pleased to invite the president of the class of 2011, Athena G., to the stage to introduce our student speaker. Athena?
Thank you, President Bottomley. As we each walk across this stage, focusing on each step to make sure we do not fall, I am reminded of Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. With each step we take, there is an equal and opposite force that keeps us from falling through this stage, for example. such is similar to our time here at Wellesley. Wellesley pushed us, and well, we pushed back. Wellesley motivated us to try our hardest and reach beyond limits, as if we didn't already. In the same manner, each and every one of us has motivated our peers and members of the Wellesley administration to think critically about the community and world we live in. We are each in action with an equal and opposite reaction. Each and every one of us is an inspiration. With that said, I am pleased to introduce a classmate who has inspired us all. Amidst the academically stressful environment of Wellesley, Claire Ayoub has been bold enough to not only be an optimist, but be a source of joy with her characteristically bubbly, happy personality. Claire is a Middle Eastern Studies major and has been a member of Dead Serious all 4 years. She finds the balance of studying crisis with comedy to be quite wonderful. In her sophomore year, she started her own tea appreciation group, Into Steep. While spreading her passion for tea, she helped members of our community slow down and take time to drink some tea, color, and reconnect with classmates. In her junior year, Claire studied abroad in London at the School of Oriental and African Studies. Upon her return from England, Claire took on an entrepreneurial role as she discovered that there was a demand for her Into Steep Tea Society to become a catering company. Claire also found herself even more in love with Wellesley in her role as an FYM first-year mentor. She also was a member of the judging panel at this year's Lip Sync and an MC for Spring Open Campus. Having worked at 2 startup companies created by Wellesley alums, Claire can personally attest to the incredible character and accomplishments of our alumni. Such a strong alumni network that only gets more fabulous as people like Claire Ayoub join their ranks. I am honored and proud to introduce our 2011 commencement student speaker, Claire Ayoub.
No food, folks. Good morning. My name is Claire Ayoub, and I have a confession to make. About this time 4 years ago, as I held my letter of admission in my hands and my father wept with joy at the prospect of paying a third college tuition, I came to a terrifying conclusion. Wellesley College had totally admitted me by accident. I wanted to believe that I was Wellesley material, but after reading that letter for the umpteenth time, I had to face reality, which was this. Somewhere, far away, in some really interesting part of the world, a high school senior by the name of Blair Mayube had received my rejection letter by mistake. You see, Blair Mayube was the perfect Wellesley woman. She had a 5.3 GPA, unweighted, of course. Perfect SAT scores, a slew of awards for her humanitarian efforts, and really great hair. After reading that letter, I knew Blair would fit right in with that yellow class of 2011. They were amazing. They were from all over the world. They were beekeepers and geneticists, athletes and scholars. They had achieved things I never thought possible by the age of 18. And me? I was a spastic theater nerd from Connecticut. I didn't keep bees, I ran away from them. And my multicultural experience maxed out when I played the role of Yenta in my high school's production of Fiddler on the Roof. Who was I kidding? The jig was up. Somewhere across the world, Blair Ayoub took a moment from her year off dedicated to saving the whales. All of them. And felt a smile on her face. You see, Blair knew karma would swing back. And it would only be a matter of time before Jennifer Desjardins and her Wellesley Black Ops admissions team came for me during the night. Did I mention that I have an overactive imagination? Can you blame me? As soon as we were admitted to this school, we came face to face with a legacy. Women who will make a difference in the world. Women who will go places and be someone and form a better future for all humankind. Walking through Alumni Hall, it is easy to feel small as we walk by those pictures of pioneering alumni. As an 18-year-old, I found it very easy to recognize their greatness, but not so easy to envision myself in that same frame. It is easy to see where our predecessors are now, but not as easy to comprehend the thousands of steps, missteps, successes, failures, and crises of confidence it took to get there. As I now tell my first years, nobody walks out of here as a 22-year-old fully formed Hillary Clinton. It took a lot of coaxing, but I got it into them. It is all about the process. The Wellesley women before us did leave us a sizable legacy, but it is not a burden, it is a gift. The generations before us gave us the power to redefine what greatness is. So ask yourself, class of 2011, how do you define greatness? While our first instinct may be to look at those pioneers on the wall, it is important to remember to look at ourselves. I see greatness in every face I pass by here each day. I have seen friends get published for their beat poetry, friends who produced breathtaking works of art, friends who spent months in a lab researching better treatment for diabetes, and remarkable women who run a network to give better opportunities to blind youth in Lebanon. That is greatness. I have seen awe in the eyes of first years as they hang on to their house president's every word, silently vowing to be just like them someday. That is greatness. I see women who will protest, women who will yell, women who will laugh and cry, sometimes at the same time. We are women who will make to-do lists. Women who will tell other people about our to-do lists. And women who will get angry when other people tell us about their to-do list because don't they know how much work we have to do? Sorry. I suppose accepting our quirks is greatness in itself. But most importantly, I see an army. Everyone has a place, everyone plays a part, everyone has a skill, and together we're unstoppable. But there's something else. To me, greatness is synonymous with happiness. It is about looking back and seeing a life well spent. It is about embracing who you are, not who you think you should be. Sure, Blair Ayoub may have the body of a goddess and the ability to speak fluent whale. But I have something different. I have a laugh that shakes mountains. I have a drive to do everything I can to make people smile, and a love of storytelling that knows no bounds. But most importantly, I have you. After 4 years at Wellesley College, I finally have my definition of our legacy, and it's you. You are all my greatness. You are all my happiness. You are all my time well spent. Not just in the past 4 years, but for all the decades to come. This is the key to our legacy. And it goes without saying that our greatness is simply too epic for a simple picture frame in Alumni Hall. I'm a little biased. 4 years ago, I came to this campus without any idea of who I was or where I belonged. Today, I stand before you as a writer, performer, entrepreneur, mentor, sister, and friend. Today, I see the faces of mentors and friends, some of whom feel a little more like family, and wonder how I can ever leave. Sure, I wish that John O'Keefe could follow me around and give me life advice like my own personal Mr. Feeney. But that's probably not going to happen. Unless, could you? No? Okay. Women who will double check. I do know one thing for certain, though. If I get hit by the Peter Pan bus today, as I always suspected I might, I can honestly say that I would die happy because I got to know all of you. I got to see the beginning of our legacy, and I cannot wait to see where we will go. So thank you, my golden class of 2011. Congratulations, and enjoy the journey. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Claire. She's making her way around for a hug, an individual hug. We now have the opportunity to recognize and congratulate outstanding members of the faculty. These are the recipients of the Teaching Prize and of named chairs. First, I would like to take a moment to express our appreciation to the entire faculty of Wellesley College. They are dedicated to the students they teach, mentor, and coach. They are dedicated to the power of liberal arts, and they are the backbone of Wellesley College. In my conversations with alumni, they continually bring up the stories of special professors who influenced them. And I know that as our seniors reflect back on their 4 years here, they will recall moments when they were challenged and inspired by members of our faculty. So from all of us assembled here today, to the Wellesley College faculty, thank you for your commitment to the education of the class of 2011. I would now like to recognize 3 faculty members in particular who are this year's recipients of the Pinanski Prize for Excellence in Teaching. The Pinanski Prize is awarded each year to honor members of our faculty who have demonstrated excellence as teachers. According to the rules for the prize, the finalists are selected by a student-faculty committee on the basis of nominations from members of the college community. Today, we recognize these 3 teachers. Stacy Goddard, Political Science. Carlos Ramos, Spanish. Yui Suzuki, Biological Sciences. I will read excerpts of the citations that they are being presented today. Stacy Goddard. Whether students choose to take your class on a lark or on purpose, one thing is clear. This assistant professor of political science has a transformative effect on all of her students. Student nominators commented on Professor Goddard's infectious enthusiasm for teaching political science and international relations. Students admit that the subjects she teaches have the potential to be dark, dense, and boring. After all, she teaches war, security studies, and weaponry. But her classes are just the opposite. Professor Goddard embraces the ethos of a liberal arts education. As one student said, she is an exceptional teacher because she fosters the sense of intellectual curiosity within her students and mentors them along this road of academic self-discovery. Another nominator said she manages to strike the perfect balance between pushing students outside of their academic comfort zones while also giving us enough guidance to achieve goals we did not even know we were capable of reaching. Professor Goddard cares about her students. She takes it upon herself to counsel and guide her students. She even has invited them over to her house to talk about their post-Wellesley plans. For these many reasons, I am pleased to present the Anna and Samuel Pinanski Teaching Prize to Stacy Goddard. We have a pause. There we go. Carlos Ramos. When students describe Associate Professor of Spanish, Carlos Ramos, they use the words such as dynamic, innovative, energetic, and caring. And these are words and sentiments shared by students who take his 100-level courses as well as his upper-level courses. As a scholar of Spanish culture and literature, Professor Ramos inspires confidence in the students he teaches. One student wrote, "His commitment to my project and his confidence in me inspired me to take myself more seriously." Professor Ramos' lessons extend outside of the classroom as well. He is a big proponent of experiential learning, using class field trips to make courses come alive. He has even been known to have a class act out a scene from a play, making sure to assign a character to himself. As a student nominator said, "Such experiential learning has changed my idea of what education could be." Another student explained that the knowledge she gained from Professor Ramos is knowledge that she will keep for a lifetime. She said, "This lasting influence is one of the most valuable things I will take away from my 4 years at Wellesley." For the positive impact that Carlos Ramos continues to have on his students, I am pleased to award him the Anna and Samuel Pinanski Teaching Prize. Yui Suzuki. In the classroom and the lab, Yui Suzuki, Assistant Professor of Biological Sciences, creates moments. These are memorable, pivotal, teachable moments that help his students become independent thinkers and scientists. Professor Suzuki has a genuine interest in and dedication to teaching. He also has a gentle way of leading students on their path of scientific discovery. As one student said, before delving straight into explaining previous experiments or studies, he asks us, "How would you do this?" This simple method of questioning always triggers our ability to think critically and ultimately allows us to appreciate the beauty of the simplicity in science. Another nominator said, "Professor Suzuki really allows students to understand exactly what research is about by allowing us to make mistakes, sometimes dire ones, in order to introduce us to the realities of scientific research." Professor Suzuki has unwavering faith in his students. In the lab, he treats them as colleagues, not as students working under him, and he encourages his students to publish their work. Professor Suzuki takes very seriously his role not only as a teacher, but as a mentor too. One student wrote, "If it were not for Professor Suzuki, I would never have found my niche in biological research." I am pleased to recognize Yui Suzuki with the Anna and Samuel Pinanski Teaching Prize. Congratulations to all three of you. Thank you. It is our tradition at commencement to announce the names of faculty whom we recognize with new appointments to endowed professorships. This year, we recognize 5 faculty members whom I will ask to stand so we can congratulate them. I will ask you to hold your applause until we have recognized all 5 professors. The first is a newly endowed professorship named for 3 generations of Wellesley women in the family. I am pleased to announce that the first holder of the Deffenbaugh de Hoyos Carlson Professorship in the Social Sciences is Thomas Cushman. I would also like to recognize Barbara Belts, Aileen Loomis Russell 46 Professorship in Neuroscience, Kay Peterman, Susan M. Hallowell and Ruby Frances Howe Farewell Professorship in Biology, Lisa Rudensky, Barbara Morris Casperson Associate Professor of the Humanities, Tracy Gleason, Whitehead Associate Professor of Critical Thought. Congratulations to all of you. Now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Jane Condon, member of the Wellesley College class of 1973. As a student here, Jane studied political science. And as she says, she wanted to change the world. After Wellesley, she went on to work as a teacher and also a journalist for Life and Fortune magazines. In the 1980s, Jane and her husband lived in Japan, where she was inspired to write Half a Step Behind, a book about Japanese women, life, and culture. In the 90s, Jane made a career switch to comedy, and audiences have been laughing ever since. The Associated Press has dubbed her an upper crust Roseanne, and she was named one of 100 comedy best bets in Backstage's annual comedy issue. She is the 2004 grand prize winner of the Ladies of Laughter contest, and in 2007 she appeared on Last Comic Standing, where she won audience favorite. Jane, you left Wellesley wanting to change the world. Through humor and comedy, you have. After all, as Mark Twain said, the human race has only one really effective weapon, and that is laughter. Please join me in welcoming Jane Condon back to Wellesley as this year's commencement speaker.
Thank you all. I want to start by saying I'm no Claire Ayoub. That girl is funny, ladies and gentlemen. She is great. Claire, please hire me someday. President Bottomley, esteemed faculty, proud parents. Where are my parents? I want to hear it from the parents. I love the parents. They're not worried about you. They're not worried about paying the tuition. They're looking at you today thinking, how am I going to fit all that stuff in my car? And last but not least, kick-ass seniors! Yeah! My name is Jane Condon, if you like me. If you don't like me, my name is Madeleine Albright. I hear Bill Clinton is giving the commencement address at NYU. Brooke Shields is doing Princeton, and you have me. What were you people thinking? When asked, my first thought was, is Nora Ephron dead? What about Lynn Sher of ABC News? Cokie Roberts, Diane Sawyer, Hillary. How about Hillary? Libya, what a lame excuse. Anyway, but you chose, and I love the seniors who chose me. Thank you very much. And I want to say hi to Victoria, who was your Chief Justice, and to the Mezcla young lady that I met, and to Athena and Nora and Naomi. I mean, you're all wonderful people. This is great. Now, I'm really happy to be here because I love this place, this Wellesley. My mom was so proud of it. She liked to lengthen the name into 3 syllables, Wellesley. I remember my first day here. My mom dropped me off. I come from this real blue-collar town in Massachusetts called Brockton. South Shore. Okay. She says, Janie, this place is going to be really good for you because you're kind of a diamond in the rough. And 4 years later, sitting where you're sitting today, she says to me, Janie, you're still a diamond in the rough. But you got a great education. When I came to Wellesley, I was on partial scholarship. My dad had died when I was 15, and don't worry about me, everybody has problems. The Wellesley Student Aid Society gave me a wastebasket. Thank you. A dictionary, and a gift certificate for $50 worth of books. I was so touched, I almost cried. I vowed then that I would give back to this school someday if I could. So here I am. I'm not being paid for this. Although I hear Toni Morrison is getting $30,000 for her speech at Rutgers. Don't worry about me. Yeah. I'm hoping for a sweatshirt, a t-shirt. How about a mug? Is a mug asking too much? Really? All right. All right. Now I have arrived. How much will this go for on eBay? I have no idea. No, I am going to keep this forever. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Anyway, this leads to my first point this morning, which is what I want to say to this incredibly impressive group of graduates. Ask for money. Always ask for money. Learn from my mistakes. When you go out there into that wide, wide world, I want you to ask for what you want. Very few things will be handed to you. You ask for that internship, you ask for that job, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but I asked my husband to marry me. He got back to me in 2 weeks with a list of pros and cons, not knowing I was the best thing to ever happen to him. I have a joke in my act about us. I say how we've been married for a long time. So let me say this about same-sex marriage, honestly. What's the problem? My husband and I have had the same sex for 32 years. He is very cute. I married up in looks. His initials are KGB, so he doesn't monogram a lot. I've always wanted to give back to this place that changed my life. Before I gave birth, I knew I wanted my kids to come here. The first time they set foot on campus, they said they wanted to come here. They really wanted to come here. And that's when I had to tell my boys, not all dreams come true. But if you get into MIT, maybe you got a shot. You can take a class. I do hope you'll give back to this fine institution if you can. When I say give back, I don't necessarily mean money, although I'm sure the development office, the Office of Resources, would like that. You know, cruise shells aren't free. I mean, take care of each other. Help a Wellesley classmate. When you get older, maybe you can arrange for an internship. When I was a junior, they had 10 summer internships in Washington, D.C. I was number 11 on the list. I mean, I could have been running this country by now. But okay, maybe that worked out for the best. But for right now, what can you do? Post something nice on a friend's Facebook page. Be a good friend. What's the fun of going through life alone? I used to get offered shows at different comedy clubs and country clubs. I did them for a while, then I asked if I could bring a friend. Sometimes someone below me, sometimes someone above. And don't bring too many above, they make you look bad. All right. But I always said that when I do a show and it's just me, it's just a show. When I bring a friend, it's a memory. Help other people, and they will help you. Also, help other people just because it feels good. I tried to help my comedian friends on the way up. They always knew my car had food: goldfish, gum, Diet Coke, and Fig Newtons. I'm not saying it's nutritious, I'm just saying it's food. I give them rides, I get them jobs in the suburbs. My experience is that what goes around does come around, not always directly. My fairy godmother appeared 2 years ago. She saw 20 minutes of my act. She gave me her spot at Ensemble Studio Theater in New York City to do my one-person show. She gave me her director. She found my producer. And 10 days ago, I just finished an extended run of my first off-Broadway show, Janie Condon, Raw and Unchained. Yeah. Thank you. This woman is Susan Sandler, and she wrote a movie that was big in the 90s called Crossing Delancey. I know commencement speakers are expected to inspire. I'll tell you the truth, honestly, I got nothing. But I'm Wellesley, so if I don't know the answer, I know where to find it. I didn't go to the library, I didn't go to the internet, I went straight to my refrigerator door, where in among all the magnets and the family photos, I found a few inspirational quotes. The first is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. His definition of success: to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, at least the front row. Okay. You guys are so much better looking than we were, I gotta tell you. Things have changed. To find the best in others. My dad always said even the bus driver has something to teach you. To leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. President Calvin Coolidge said perseverance is key. He said press on. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. And having lived in Japan for 5 years, omedetou gozaimasu, Suzuki-sensei, I want to share my favorite Japanese proverb with you. Nana karobi, ya oki, be a 7 times fall down, 8 times get up kind of person. Nana karobi, ya oki, that's what I want for you. The only time you fail is when you quit. I was on NBC's Last Comic Standing. I tried out for this show 4 times. I slept in my car overnight to get the audition. You have to really want it. So here we are on this momentous day, your day. I'm looking at all these educated, eager faces and thinking, you've got a great ride ahead of you. I'm also thinking, this isn't in my script, I have a son, and any of you are interested, he's over there in the gingham blue. Really, take a look. Honey, could you stand up? Just wave. He is not unattractive. Please. Really, you'd be doing me a big favor. It'd be nice if you had a job with health benefits. Okay. Moving on. Yeah, you got a great ride ahead of you with ups and downs, but with a great education in your back pocket. Wellesley women always seem to share one quality: quiet confidence. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. They make great old ladies. In closing, I was at an event once with many impressive women. The question was, what would you put on your tombstone? I said, for me, she brings joy. Hillary, our Hillary, said, I done my damn best. And Estelle Ramey, a professor of endocrinology at Georgetown University, said these words, I have loved and been loved, and all the rest is background music. I'd like to repeat that. I have loved and been loved, and all the rest is background music. So these are my 3 points. Give back, don't give up, love, And remember what I said about being a friend? I always wanted to have a girl. My boys were supposed to be Kate and Elizabeth. Now I like to think I have 600 daughters. Thank you. I want you all to friend me on Facebook. I want to say this, if you ever need anything at all, I want you to call President Kim Bottomley. She's a leader. I'm just a little comedian. You are an amazing class. Thank you for the honor of a lifetime. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Seniors, class of 2011, you have made it. Today is the last day I will call you seniors. Tomorrow, you will be Wellesley College alumni. This is a landmark day for you and for your families and loved ones. It is a significant day for me as well. I feel a special kinship with your class, the yellow, or I should say, the golden class of 2011. We began a journey here together in the fall of 2007. We were all new arrivals on the shores of Lake Waban, you and I. Together we have come to know and love Wellesley, experiencing Wellesley traditions for the first time, and discovering the ways in which they bind our community together. You will soon learn something that our 36,000 alumni already know. Those bonds are permanent. Today, you are a Wellesley student. Tomorrow, you will no longer be a student here, but you will always be a Wellesley woman. In the words of one of our trustees, Laura Gates, other people go to college for 4 years. With Wellesley, it's for life. We are participating today in a predictable tradition, this commencement ceremony. There's an established format, a way of dress, a formal procession, a set order of speaking. There's a sense of comfort in this formal ritual because what happens tomorrow and next week and next year are unknown, and the unknown can be unnerving. I am here today to assure you that you are ready for whatever happens tomorrow. We are happy that you're moving on to a new phase in your life, that you're going out to exciting new ventures, but we will miss you. You have left an imprint on this place. You recently left a very visible mark on the campus, one that is not permanent, but it was great fun. You covered the campus with yellow, balloons, streamers, and signs, letting us all know that you were still here. You needn't have worried. We will not forget you, golden class of 2011. The first time I spoke to you 4 years ago at your orientation, I referred to you as pioneers, intellectual pioneers. I told you that in your 4 years here, you would be outfitting yourself with a toolkit you needed to successfully live and work in a globalizing, interconnecting, and rapidly changing world. Like the original pioneers, I said, you would be entering a world in which change is ubiquitous and challenges are large. I pointed out that the original pioneers didn't know what they might encounter as they ventured past the frontier. They had to be inventive, intellectually agile, creative problem solvers. They had to be prepared. And now your preparations are done. Your wagon is loaded. You are ready to begin. 4 years ago, I used the analogy of the original pioneers to convey the idea that you needed to outfit yourself for a world that we couldn't predict. How true that has proved to be. I confess I had no idea how drastically and dramatically the world would in fact change during your time here. My pioneer's analogy seems to me now to be not so much an analogy, but a literal fact. The change we are on the cusp of today is a momentous one. It's the kind of change that defines generations. In the past century, we've had the Depression generation, the World War II generation, the 60s generation, and the MTV generation. I don't know what history will call your generation, but I am certain it will be named. It is the first generation that will live their adult lives in a truly global world. Think about what has happened in the world during your 4 years here. There have been so many things, but just the bare highlights provide a sobering roster. There was the BP oil spill, which highlighted our environmental vulnerability. There was the Haiti earthquake and its revelation about the importance of infrastructure and the fact that we are and need to be a global community. There was the H1N1 epidemic, a stark reminder that a sneeze in Kansas can kill people in Beijing. There was the economic crisis, our worst since the Great Depression, a crisis that is ongoing and has already reshaped the geopolitical world. There was the earthquake and tsunami in Japan and the resulting nuclear crisis, as well as the ongoing political upheaval in Northern Africa and the Middle East, as people are taking to the streets, challenging the legitimacy of their long-standing regimes, debating the merits of democracy. And just a few weeks ago, the world paused when we learned of the death of Osama bin Laden, marking another chapter in the complicated era that followed 9/11. Like never before, it has been made strikingly clear to us, even painfully clear, that this new world is inextricably knitted together so that pulling on a tiny thread somewhere causes unraveling everywhere. Although you spent these years within the relative safety of Wellesley, you were no doubt affected in some ways by these global events. They have defined the world you knew as students and will continue to define the world you know as Wellesley graduates. I mention these global events not to worry you, but rather to encourage you. And you should feel encouraged. You may not realize it yet, but you've spent the last 4 years preparing for this moment. And believe me, you are well equipped to live and thrive in this redefined world. You are ready for that pioneering journey. Now, why am I confident about this? Because for the last 4 years, you have been in an intellectual community. You have had access to faculty experts and mentors. Because you've been surrounded by debates and discussion about these events. Because you have been part of a very diverse and international student body. Most people could only read and hear about these events passively. You were able to directly appreciate the impact of these events in conversations with some of your classmates. You were able to understand the nuances of these events and their potential effects on our future. It was a gripping 4 years. You are fortunate to have been in exactly the right place to appreciate it. It has truly been a revolutionary era. When I look at you today, I think of what Wordsworth said about a similar era. Bliss it was that dawn to be alive, but to be young was very heaven. At Wellesley, you learned how to comfort and be comforted, how to empathize and to offer help at the same time, how to plan and organize for the common benefit. You learned how to analyze, to think critically, and to stand up for what you believe in. You learned how to make a difference. In thinking about what I wanted to say to you today, and as I reflected on the past 4 years, a famous literary passage entered my mind. It was inevitable, perhaps, since it is the opening lines of one of our best-known works about a revolutionary era. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It almost seems like Charles Dickens was talking about our era. There is uncertainty, there is rapid change, but there's also the opportunity to have a hand in remaking and reshaping, an opportunity to share in the creation of a better world, an opportunity to connect with all parts of the world and improve not just our national condition, but the human condition worldwide. Yes, these are difficult and challenging times, the worst of times, but they are also times full of promise and new possibilities, the best of times. It is an invigorating time to be you, to be so well prepared by your years at Wellesley, to be prepared to make a difference, to lighten burdens, to stay engaged, to fix what is broken, and to create what is needed. I know you will, wherever you are and whatever you are doing. During your time at Wellesley, your primary purpose has been to develop and to find the best in yourself. It hasn't always been easy, but you have done it. My charge to you today as you enter this next phase of your life is keep on doing it. You have navigated this environment. You have flourished. You are ready to apply all that you have learned and become to this new setting, the world. There's one more thing to keep in mind as you venture forward. And to stay with Dickens, I think it's best captured by G.K. Chesterton in an essay about Dickens. Chesterton wrote, "The whole difference between construction and creation is exactly this, that a thing constructed can only be loved after it is constructed, but a thing created is loved before it exists." Don't try to construct your life so you can look back years later and maybe love it. Instead, create your life. You are all different. There is no blueprint for what you should do and what you should aspire to do. There is no plan that tells you how to pile block on block to construct a life you will love. Make your life be not what others expect it to be, but what you want it to be. Exactly that and no less. Create your life, live your life, and love your life. That is the most important thing. Finally, let me return to the pioneer analogy. Unlike the original pioneers who were going into a land alone and couldn't easily go home again, you have an advantage. As you make your way in the world, you will find you are supported by a powerful network of women. It is one I have referred to as a bright and brave sisterhood, a network spanning the generations and the globe. You are going into a world to join over 36,000 of your Wellesley sisters, all pioneers in their own way. Take advantage of this network, become a part of the network, and in future years, reach out to help new members of the network. The pioneers couldn't go back, but you can. You have a place. You have this campus. You have this community. You can return often to Wellesley to remember and to renew. Tomorrow, you will not be a Wellesley student. You will be an alum. I want you to take this last thought and engrave it on your hearts. You will always be Wellesley women. This will always be your campus. You will always belong here. Thank you. All right, seniors, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Provost Shannon will now present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
In the commencement program, we have listed honors and prizes earned by many of our seniors. Although we will not read honors as we call names for diplomas, we draw the attention of families and friends to this list and invite you to share our pride in the many achievements of these students. In addition, we recognize 3 student athletes who are unable to be at today's ceremony because they are representing Wellesley at the NCAA National Championships in crew. They are Nicola Rentschler, Casey Sedlak, and Hannah Woodruff.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise?
Madam President, it is the privilege of my office to present to you, on behalf of the faculty of Wellesley College, the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
By the authority of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, vested in the Board of Trustees, and by them delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts and admit you to all the rights, dignities, and responsibilities of that degree.
Grace Abraham Kobina. Maria Victoria Arevalo Abrenica. Jahanara Ahmad. Farah Ahmed. Jiun An. Crystal Alicia May Aiken. Nana S. Ackham. Angela Taze Alexander II. Hillary Marie Allen. Ilana Beth Altman. Rebecca Amwa. Hawa Ansari. Ashley Marie Apolloni. Kristen Arden. Joanna Patricia Aranias. Zara Mubarak Asharia. Elizabeth Atkin. Sarah Elizabeth Atlas. Claire Elizabeth Ayoub. Dara Azuma. Adina Badia. Hannah Grady Balin. Serena Khalith Bajwa. Brittany Christine Backus. Lauren Stephanie Baker. Monica Ballesteros Arias.